We're kind of entering to the Great Depression. Bitcoin is going to be booming. Crypto is just, a small piece out of a lot of different things.
Crypto is kind of undefined and the cycle has changed a lot.
You can use this and you can win quite big.
Crypto becoming much more mainstream than it used to be even like 2-3 years ago.
There hasn't been much focus on the crypto topic, but more focus into stablecoins. There's around like $6 billion in prediction market contracts that are now being traded, which is insane.
The prediction market is a thing quite similar to gambling.
So the future is AI is linked to trading.
You don't think that AI bubble will burst, do you?
Not yet. I think we're still far from it.
Hello everyone and welcome back to HODL FM. I'm Tanya, your host, and today we are joined by Malak Alba, and she will tell us about the latest happenings in crypto. She went to Davos. She will share some insights about what was discussed between the big minds over there. And to begin with, it would be great to know more about your background. Maybe you could tell about what you're working on right now.
Thanks, Tanya, for the quick introduction. So yeah, my name is Malak Alba. I go by Alba just because it's easier. I lived 8 years in Italy. I was born and raised in the Middle East. And right now I've been in different industries, juggling and wearing different hats. So I'm a PR advisor for different startups in the Web3 space. I'm also a journalist and a show co-host of Searching for Mana podcast. We do these thought leadership interviews with global leaders, and it is affiliated by the London Stock Exchange. And yeah, I basically also try to do research and learn as much as possible about the industry that is focusing on AI, prediction markets, and of course, cryptocurrencies.
Right now, we see that crypto is joined by institutional players, and it's been like everyone was waiting for big institutions to join the game, and everyone was thinking that Bitcoin is going to be booming. But we see a completely opposite thing. We see that they're much more experienced than traditional players. And what is your take on what's happening in the market right now? Is it going to bounce back, or is Bitcoin going to stay as more like a stable thing?
I mean, there's a lot of ways to answer this question. There's no right or wrong because the future is unpredictable, as you can imagine. But one way to put this is if we go back to history, to the Great Depression, 1929. I have a very strong feeling from all the events that has been happening so far with the financial industry as a whole, because crypto is just, a small piece out of a lot of different things. We still have the S&P 500. We have also commodities. They're all affected by the global activities that is happening, whether it's geopolitical, whether it's the tariff the US is playing, and we also have the AI race as well, and the energy topic on a side. So it's very difficult to say where we are right now, but definitely in terms of the events, we're kind of entering to the Great Depression. It might not be a very optimal answer you're seeking, but I think even Andrew Sorkin, one of the most famous journalists in finance of all time, he also wrote this book and he published it last year, which is a very interesting time given that all of this inflation that's been happening in the world, the tariffs, it's making us take a step back and see, before we kind of invest or make any decisions, we must look at the future ahead. And the way to live by what's happening right now with the market volatility that, like you mentioned, we must consume data and research. And the way we can do this is through prediction markets and AI.
Okay, and what about your recently trip to Davos? So you went there, and since I think 2018, crypto became one of the topics majorly discussed during Davos forums. There were lots of dinners happening devoted to crypto discussions and lots of talks around crypto. What was happening this year, and what do big minds say about what's going to happen generally in the financial system, and is crypto going to be involved somehow?
So this year's theme was still focused on energy consumption and how we can use tech in the most sustainable way possible. With AI, you have small language models and you have also large language models. So it was very much common in the beginning of the AI race that a lot of companies were also training their AI agents using LLMs rather than small sophisticated models, because it's just very niche and specific. And sometimes if you have large capacity of data, it's easier to run it through LLMs. But now the talk, as I seen during Davos 2026, is that there's so much focusing on using AI in the most efficient way in terms of energy. And the way to do this is to design and localize these language models. So let's take, for example, in Saudi Arabia, they have this company called Humane, and they've gotten like a massive funding round from one of the biggest sovereign wealth funds in Saudi Arabia, PIF, and I think it was like billions. And the reason why they're investing so much in the infrastructure of printing out AI chips and building an infrastructure dedicated for the Arabic language, where AI would understand all the data that is maybe traditionally not very recognized by an English AI model. So this would really much allow the AI to think faster, to compute these kind of computations way faster, and thus saving out energy. So there was this now trend going on, is like how we can train these AI models to do specific things. So, in Vienna, it would make sense to have a German LLM or a SLM that would, focus on maybe doing autonomous tasks for a specific niche. If like manufacturing is famous in Austria, for instance, or in Germany, then that would be the focus. So AI does not have to contain all the data needed because it's just so much computing power. And that is what I noticed right now in Davos, how we can make AI more sustainable. And for your question about crypto, there hasn't been much focus on the crypto topic, but more focus onto stablecoins, onto, the Clarity Act now is coming into place in the US, and there will be even more legislations happening for prediction markets. So right now, regulatory framework is becoming a key topic.
Yeah, regulatory framework is really very, very important, because until quite recently, everything related to crypto was considered to be quite shady, sketchy, and not really reliable. Right now, we see the situation is changing, with crypto becoming much more mainstream than it used to be even like 2-3 years ago. When it comes to like the niche and the development of the niche, I see that prediction markets are being a very, very big thing right now. But this is the thing which is not highly regulated. What do you think is going to be next in terms of regulation? Because if we look at poly market is, as far as I know, it's banned in the US. It's also banned in Portugal and in many countries, but this is the only way people are like the regulation is happening. So they just prohibit it, and that's more or less it. What do you think is going to be for the prediction market? And does it make any sense to build a prediction market right now?
Yeah, Tanya, before going to Davos, I thought the same thing. I was thinking, okay, prediction markets are unregulated. And I was speaking with I came across this very interesting person in Davos. He was one of the first advisors to Kalshi, which is another prediction market platform. And he was telling me, no, actually, Kalshi, in some way, it is kind of regulated by the sense that each user, whether like, for example, if you want to open an account, you still need to do KYC. You need to do your identity verified. And they do this kind of way to make sure that there's no insider info, like, so it's not anonymous. But with Polymarket, which is probably one of the famous prediction market platforms, especially in the crypto world, it's unregulated, unfortunately. So you can be anonymous. If you hear or if you see any kind of information that's taken to your advantage, you can use this and you can win quite big. But to take you a step back on prediction market, which is, I think it's one of my favorite topics as a journalist to talk about, because it's very much of a fast-growing segment in the financial space. It's been taking off so much. I think there's around like $6 billion in prediction market contracts that are now being traded, which is insane. And the funny part is that also in crypto, in our industry, also Robinhood and Coinbase, they are also, entering to this rally, and there's gonna be more names to follow. So to kind of speak about regulation at the moment, you have the CFTC, which is in the United States, is the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. And it is regulating these prediction markets. They kind of see the prediction market contracts as event contracts. So they kind of fall into the existing purview of the CFTC. But there's still very uncertainty when it comes to, insider trading. We've seen that with the latest news about Venezuela, that someone from the US had some insider information and they traded and they placed a bet. So they got a lot of win. So how can regulation really stop insider trading from happening? This is still a big question mark. But, alongside, I'm predicting that a major piece of a new legislation would come out, will be, coming its way through the Congress, and there will be an interest of how we can preserve the integrity of prediction markets. I think now the biggest bet so far is that, Wall Street investment banks like Goldman Sachs, they already see prediction markets to be a good fit for its derivative trading business. It's kind of a way of how Wall Street is kind of connected, right? They have this sophisticated modeling of key economic and political events, and that really much is all about prediction markets, especially Polymarket, when you can place a bet on crypto, on politics, also on sports. So it's a very interesting industry.
It's a very interesting industry, and I heard that there's a lot of institutional interest when it comes to prediction markets, on one hand. But on the other hand, prediction market is a thing quite similar to gambling, if we look at some point of view, from a different angle, because it makes you, it enables you to bet on some kind of political event or some sports events, which is already happening on major gambling platforms. However, what do you think in terms of institutions? Are they already joining the prediction market scene, and how is it actually happening? Because if on one hand, like Polymarket, it's banned in many countries, how can institutions actually legally join any kind of prediction market, which is not like Kalshi, which is regulated, and it is not really crypto? How can institutions join the crypto prediction markets when it comes to regulation and having most of them banned?
There's definitely some loopholes that some institutions can enter to the prediction markets, as long as the event contract they're using falls into the legislation of what is set under the CFTC in the US. But it's still very tricky. Even with Kalshi and Polymarket, they're still facing so much regulatory scrutiny. But definitely there's ways that people are not stopping it, and absolutely it's still very unclear. But what's happening right now, if we take for example Robinhood, they're launching this new initiative for their Robinhood Gold members, where you have this kind of AI-powered investing assistant. And I kind of wonder, like, if these AI assistants, they can help you invest in the stock market, why can't they help you invest in prediction markets as well? And there might be some tools that institutions will be using to make us predict smarter. So not necessary to have these institutions implement the mechanisms of prediction markets, but maybe we would be seeing more tools supporting us, or even media, like for instance, CNN. I'm not sure if it's CNN or CNBC, one of the legacy medias. They already signed a partnership deal with Kalshi. So I have a gut feeling that we might see more institutions, but I think that will happen after the Clarity Act that will be taking place around summer.
And what do you think about Clarity Act? Is it going to help the next bounce for the whole crypto market, or is it going to make like crypto even more regulated, more stable, with more restrictions, and so on? Because MiCA in Europe, for example, it's, in my opinion, it didn't help crypto adoption within Europe, because it just made crypto similar to banks. And if we look at mentality of any crypto trader, any person who is interested in crypto and using crypto, it's mostly about anonymity, about having your control over your funds, whereas MiCA is trying to take it from you. What do you think is going to happen with the Clarity Act?
So with the Clarity Act, I think it's going to be one of the most important crypto bills, because it kind of clarifies how digital assets are classified under law. And, like Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, he also had some comments on the Clarity Act, because it definitely will classify a lot of different, assets in the crypto industry. Like back in 2018, we had this whole talk about, whether this asset class is a security or not. And now there will be even more laws being passed. So that would make a lot of exchanges, a lot of digital asset firm even more prudent about, the kind of asset classes that they're trading on the market. And so we might have a step back, but I think that's definitely still good. I was speaking with the governor of Bermuda, Anthony Howell, and he explained to me that, the Clarity Act is just a small piece of the puzzle. There's a lot of, digital asset firms that are registered in Bermuda, in Cayman Islands. So for the US markets, it's definitely a bit of a step back. I think regulation seems a bit more clear. Even, Circle, the issuer of the USDC, is also under a lot of pressure, as well as Coinbase, that will be very much impacted by the Clarity Act. A significant portion of its revenue actually comes from stablecoin reward products, which the bill, as it's written, would restrict stablecoin yielding. So if, the Coinbase revenue is stemming from stablecoins, then, that's kind of like about $1.3 billion just generated from stablecoin yield. So I have a feeling, it won't be good news for the A players in crypto. But for the newcomers, I think, that's about time, that we see regulations, even if it hurts some other companies like Coinbase.
Yeah, maybe we will see. For the newcomers, it's going to make probably crypto much easier and much more similar to what banks do in terms of processes and procedures. And Alba, before we wrap it up, I would like to move to the topic of AI. AI is entering every sphere of our lives. And I was wondering about your thoughts on how AI is going to be used in crypto, because it was anticipated to be one of the main like narrative of 2025, 2024. It never happened though. What is the future of AI and crypto?
So the future is AI is linked to trading. That's not a question, because if AI can make us trade smarter, can give us insights, it can really much help a beginner investor to trade stock options, to to do a lot of things that you as an investor, you as a person, are not able to do. And I see this already with exchanges, like I mentioned before, like Robinhood, eToro. I was speaking with Yoni in Abu Dhabi about eToro's roadmap, and he told me, well, AI is in our conversation right now. After he had this dinner with Warren Buffett, he realized, how can we replicates one of the smartest and traders of all time, replicate that into an AI model for other people to use, and kind of mimic that thought process that they have into an AI model. So right now, there is this kind of tool called Tori, where you can actually use it to ask questions about any kind of stock that you want to buy or sell, and it would definitely give you the answer as if it was Warren Buffett or Nancy Pelosi from all of their past trading history. So I think that's very fascinating, like the way that Saudi Arabia is implementing AI. I think there will be a lot of AI assistants coming into place that the government can use, and in order to kind of classify and make it easier for the citizen to get all the services that they need. And you've probably already seen this in Dubai or in Saudi Arabia. They're already having these smart AI assistants playing into place. And we're probably going to see even more race towards AI in terms of nations. So right now in the US, you have a lot of VCs that are only investing into data mining infrastructures to build and design AI chips. The reason for this is because a lot of nations are competing for power and for also designing the most native models that can be understood by the region. So we're gonna see more of this. We're gonna see more local collaborations, between different cities in the country, like in the US, for instance. We're going to see a lot of investments being poured. So sovereign wealth funds like, PIF or like Mubadala in UAE, they're going to be investing more on their infrastructure. I don't really believe that we're going to see a lot of foreign AI investments that will be, taking out the place. Now I think the game here is to rally and to produce the most independent AI computing power that the country can do.
So in a nutshell, you don't think that AI bubble will burst, do you?
Not yet. I think we're still far from it. But the AI startup valuations, I think it's a bit frightening. Like with Anthropic, that's launched Cloud.ai. I think it's one of the best, AI engines I've ever used in my life. They are, going ahead for IPO, and right now their valuation is like 3 digits in billions. It's like, I think $100 billion valuation. I mean, you'd never seen this kind of number before. And I think there's just so much hope. And I don't know if that is good or bad, per se.
We will see what's going to happen in 2026. It's set to be a very, very interesting year because crypto is kind of undefined and the cycle has changed a lot. AI is also like, it has a lot of room to grow, so to say, and it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen next this year. Thanks a lot. It was Malak Alba with us. Thank you for such an interesting and insightful session. I hope you guys liked it, and don't forget to like this video, to follow HODL FM, to check out Alba's socials, and see you during next session. Bye.
Thanks, Tanya.